All right, people. Welcome back to the channel. Of course, I think it's called More Martin. I don't even know what it's called these days, but nonetheless, welcome back to the channel. And I got a really quick video for you guys, and it, it's of course about Real Madrid and the main man, of course, the main man named Carlo Ancelotti. Now, before I start this video, I kind of want to say this. One, I believe Carlo Ancelotti is one of the top five, top 10 greatest managers of all time. Wherever you want to rank him, you can rank him there. This is not me trying to disrespect Carlo. I know he's accomplished a lot, especially for Real Madrid, and I know that he's done a lot for a club. People are gonna say, "Oh, you're ungrateful, you're this and that." For a manager who's won you two Champions League, I believe two La Ligas, a Copa del Rey, Spanish Super Cups, basically every trophy since he's came back for his second term. And I have to say this: I am very grateful for what Carlo has done, but I genuinely feel like I'm being gaslit when it comes to being talked about to when we're talking about Real Madrid. And this is what I mean. How many times have you spoken to a rival fan, or you're just speaking to a fan, to someone in general, and they say, you hear the statement, Real Madrid played like ass, but somehow they found a way to win. Real Madrid got dominated for 90 minutes, but somehow they found a way to win. Real Madrid is the luckiest club of all time. Real Madrid have bought the rest. Real Madrid have done this and that. My point is that if you listen to all those statements closely, they're telling you that Real Madrid are basically aren't playing well, and that they're basically being outcoached, they're being outplayed, this and that. But because for some reason they win because of luck, right? So when you have Real Madrid fans, and by the way, I'm just a simple guy in my bedroom. I don't know shit about football. At least the only thing I know is from what I know, from what I've been watching. I haven't been watching football for as long as others have. I'm not a manager or per se. Would I love to manage one day, maybe, or something like that? But that's not my main point. The one thing I want to say is that I do not speak for all Real Madrid fans. I just feel like when I'm talking about Real Madrid, I feel like I'm being gaslit because people are telling me one thing about our play style, about the way we play, about everything about our club. But then when we criticize the manager, who's in charge of the style of play, who's in charge of selecting the squad, who's in charge of basically everything within the with the way we play and stuff like that, they tell that when we criticize that manager, they tell us that we're ungrateful, we're spoiled, and this and that. And guess what? Any other fan base would probably be happy with Carlo and the way he's playing, and not the way he's playing, but with the results and everything like that. And I guess the bigger conversation is gonna be: do the results matter? Do the results matter if the way you're playing is? Let me rephrase that. Does the way you play matter if you're consistently getting the results? Does that matter, right? And for me, f I think I was a result over style of play, over this and that in the past, but this season has really opened my eyes because I feel like outside of the city game, we haven't dominated anybody that we should have, in my opinion. And that means like all the big teams have come in our ground, or where when we've gone to face them, have dominated us outside of City, in my opinion. And that was a very lucky game, in my opinion. I'll get into the City game in a little bit, but and I just feel like I'm constantly watching us get outplayed and get dominated. The other day we played Leganes, right? I wish I can see. Can will Sofa score? Will I said Sofa score? Uh, it feels like I'm being gaslit into like this. The way it's shown right now, actually, here you can see towards the end of the game, like the 76th minute, Leganes have like a huge period, have a period of time where they dominated. Then Mbappe scores. No, after Mbappe scores in the 77th, 76th minute, Leganes has the ball. Then we have the ball for a little bit, and they basically have the ball on for towards the end of the game. And I bet you if you look at somebody like for Barca or what's it called, or a Bayern Munich or anybody or any other team, they dominate teams consistently and they punish teams. And I feel like we don't do that. And I feel like I'm not trying to come off like I'm spoiled or anything like that. But the way Real Madrid have been playing recently is not a good look, in my opinion. I'm really trying to think of the words because I want to be very careful with what I'm saying. Yes, Carlo Ancelotti is a legend. Yes, he's won us a lot of trophies. Yes, Real Madrid fans are lucky because Real Madrid fans and the club is very lucky because of the recent success they've had. But that is an excuse for the type of team that you have for you to be playing the way that you're playing. And I'm not saying this is all on Carlo because you can tell me if you tell me that we have a better fullback duo, does this team suddenly become better? Stylistically, does this team suddenly become better? I think so, yes. But at the same time, Carlo does not help himself when you see the way he treats youngsters. This guy wanted to bench Asensio for Alaba at one point when Alaba first came back, when Asensio had clearly proven himself to be a first teamer, and he had shown it in multiple times in multiple big games that you know what, I deserve the spot. So instead of integrating Alaba slowly, after a couple of weeks when Alaba came back, he tried to throw in Alaba in the deep end and bench Asensio. Like this guy, unless he fully trusts you, he will not play you. He won't. I remember he used to do the same thing to Chilmeni. Now he would rather play Chilmeni as center back than Asensio at a period of time this season, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And then it's like how many times do we have to hear that Real Madrid got dominated, Real Madrid got this and that, and then when fans talk about that, we're we're told that we need to stop being spoiled, this and that, like that. I just don't get it, and it's like a specific narrative from rival fans, and I probably shouldn't be listening to rival fans. When I'm saying rival fans, it's just other fans in general. It's not just Barca and Atletico Madrid fans that I'm talking to that are telling me this stuff, you know? And it's very frustrating for me as a fan because I'm watching my team get dominated, but because of individual brilliance, we're winning games. And does Carlo know how to coach attack in football and how to what's it called? Does he know how to coach attackers and this and that? Yes, he does. But the defensive structure has always and will always be shit under Carlo Ancelotti. And I would love to hear it from other fans that have experienced Carlos type of football. I feel like at a certain point, it's like, mm, yeah, you have an expensive squad. It's not like you're managing Everton like you used to before. No, you have one of the most expensive squads in the world. The expectations surely become higher, right? Like at some point, like we should demand more from you. Like the stuff that you got away with your first year, you shouldn't be getting away with in your third or fourth year, right? And another thing with him is that he he has not retained a title, I believe, in his career. Uh, I can double check that, but I'm like 99.9% sure he's not retained a title in his entire career, and he's been coaching for a long time. And right now, we're still alive in all three competitions. Last year, I believe we did the double La Liga and the Champions League, and this year we're still alive in all three competitions, and we're on track. If we win everything, we'll be doing the sextuple, right? And then you say, "Man, that's a good season, of course, right?" Yes, of course, but then you look into deeper into how we got there, and it's like you lost to AC Milan, you lost to Lille, you had to go through the playoff stage and the UCL after the and in the UCL to get to where you are to the round of 16. You played who did we just finish playing? Was it Atletico Madrid? You kind of got dominated by Atletico Madrid in the UCL tie. You had to go to penalties to beat them. Even then, during the penalties, there was what's it called Alvarez situation with his penalty that kind of gave you an advantage. And it's like there's all these question marks about the way you're winning, and it's like should fans actually accept this? And I think, and you look at the way certain players are like are. I feel like are regressing under him and have not have like the seasons they had prior to him. I said prior, like a couple years before since he came back, and I feel like you're starting to question this stuff. Like the attackers are doing fine in my opinion. They're playing with Kylian Mbappe, and it's hard to integrate a player like that into a team. So I understand if Vinny hasn't been what's it called like his Ballon d'Or level self, even though against Real Betis or Real Sociedad he looked like his old self again, and I understand that. You know what? But when I look at the midfield, why is all the midfielders outside of Jude Bellingham and Valverde struggling? Why is all the defenders outside of Asensio struggling? Because they're being asked to do so much. And if it wasn't for Valverde and Jude Bellingham, who cover so much ground, who do so much for this team, you look at when they miss time, you look at how this team performs, it's a night and day difference. And I feel like whenever we bring this up as fans, we get told, "Oh, he's won this and that," and it's like, do the trophy. I'm not saying I'll clearly take all the trophies in the world, but at some point, I actually want to watch my team play well and play good. I don't want to watch my team have to struggle, have to suffer like my manager is constantly telling me this in the press. The guy came out in the press and say that we have to suffer. Why? Look at the squad. You have a goalkeeper in Thibaut Courtois. Now the defenders, I'll give you some slack. Rudiger has not been his old self. Your fullback duo of Ferland Mendy and Frank Garcia are ass, and Lucas Vasquez. All right, I'll give you a little bit of slack from that. Raul Asensio has been great this season, but you also barely didn't want to play him, and you only played him because you had to. Chilwell was struggling until he got booed in the Bernabeu. Danny Ceballos, who came off the bench, had been the key so far to the season, but now that he's out, he starting to playing terrible again. Camavinga has been on and off this whole year. Valverde, unless he's been ran to the ground, and him and Jubam are the only two when that look like they're about anything this season. And both of these guys look like they need rest. Jude still needs shoulder surgery and things like that. Then the attackers, he barely wants to play Ardor and Endrick. Instead, he rather plays 40-year-old Luka Modric, who I love. But the amount of set pieces Luka Modric takes and ruins is insane to me. And then you have the front three who never want to have a good game. Like all three of them at the same time never want to have a good game. It's either two or one of them or none, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think at this point we should be able to ask our manager to play a little bit of good football, to do a little bit we're not asking for a lot. It's just like against like even all right. You want to say in the big matches, you want to be a little bit pragmatic. I get that, but against the relegation sides, can we dominate them from start to finish? And I don't know, maybe it's something with the players where until they have some form of adversity, they can't kick it into the next gear or what. But at some point, when it's constantly happening, it has to be because of the manager, in my opinion. But the only other thing I'll say about this is that I think Well, obviously, we should not be firing Carlo right this minute. I believe he wants to go into the executive part of the club when he's done coaching or go to Brazil, it seems like. And I'm fine with that, in my opinion. But it has to be done this summer because the times and like the amount of times we have to suffer watching this type of football makes no sense in my opinion. We're losing. We gave up over like 9 goals to Barcelona this season alone. When have you ever heard of that from a Real Madrid team? It doesn't make any sense. All right. Now we have to face them in the Copa del Rey. We're in track to face them in the Champions League if we reach the final. And they reach the final, we can have an El Clasico final. And then we can also, and there's a La Liga game that we have to face them, which might decide the league. Like at this point, like you cannot constantly be getting beaten by your rivals. Simeone's constantly outclassing him, but because of the he doesn't have the same resources, Simeone sometimes is losing. You get what I mean? At the end of the day, I feel like maybe it is maybe it's us Real Madrid fans actually uh, being spoiled and this and that. But I still think that something is should be there needs to be a change. We should not be getting dominated by every single team we face, whether they're low table, mid table, or they're in title races. At some point, I want to see us dominate a team from start to finish, and not have to not have to do it on individual brilliance, and not have to have a shit defensive structure, and to actually just play not even great football or good football, just some decent stuff. Like against the Gunners, the first half was great in my opinion. The only thing that was missing was us putting the ball in the back of the net. But come the second half, we have to play shit. Why? Why? Why can't we do it for 90 minutes and just go on about our day? Why do I have to constantly stress when I watch Real Madrid? And like I said, this isn't all on him. The board have gotten it wrong this season. How can your fullback duo in the year 2025 be Lucas Vasquez, Ferdinand Mendy, and Fran Garcia? It doesn't make any sense to me. But at the end of the day, this is what it's come up to. I don't want to say I'm not gonna complain, but I just want to see better from the club. I just want to see us do better, perform better, and take us to the next level. At the end of the day, right now, we're still in all three main competitions. If we do the trouble, then I'll shut up. I'll shut up. But I still think at some point things will need to improve on in the field of play, in my opinion. At some point the trophies will not cover everything, in my opinion. And we've already started seeing that against certain teams. But will we continue? Will it come back to haunt us in the later part of the season? That's my point. If you guys have witnessed Carlo or actually watching Real Madrid and not just scoreboard watching or just not looking up Real Madrid La Liga title, Real Madrid Champions League table and stuff like that, then I would love to have a conversation with you. Or if you're one of these teams that Carlo has managed, whether it be Chelsea, PSG, Real Madrid fans, Bayern Munich fans, especially, I want to talk to you guys. Napoli, Everton, and there was a story that came out a couple of years ago that said that the Bayern Munich players had to start their own training sessions because Carlo wasn't doing enough of it, and even his autobiography or something like that. Ronaldo came out and said that we never spoke about tactics when it came with Carlo. That has to change. That has to change, in my opinion. But that's gonna be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try to be more consistent. We're currently on 32 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 at some point in the near future. And at the end of the day, I'm just a kid that loves this club and that is trying to that just wants to talk sports. Do I know what I'm talking about half the time? No, but hey, it is what it is. If you guys like this content, drop a like, drop a comment, and let's have a good discussion. Outside that, peace.